Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And as you see from the title, Secrets and Lies, and that kind of sums up the SNP. But they have an obligation. The Freedom of Information Act obliges them to release information when requested. And they have a target that has to be set. So it's a legally binding target. And they, being secretive and sneaky, have failed to hit that target for 3 consecutive years. This is not good. We know that they don't like telling the truth because they know that the truth is rather unpalatable. You need an awful lot of oil to get that one down your throat. Some of the things that they firmly believe and that they've done would be shocking if it was released. So that is why we have freedom of information, so that governments can be held to account. But apparently not this government. Let's look at this article and see why these sneaky bastards think they can get away with it. So, secretive SNP government has failed to hit the Freedom of Information response target for 35 months. The Scottish Government set a target of responding to 95% of requests on time, but has not managed that since March 2020. They'll come up with some bullshit reasons, but ultimately it's because they don't want the truth to come out. The SNP-dominated Scottish Government is at the centre of another secrecy row after it emerged it had failed to hit targets for FOI requests for 35 months, nearly 3 years. The government aims to reply to FOI requests and reviews within 20 working days. It set out a plan to improve its record with an aim of 95% by 2019, 6 years ago. But new figures published this week show the last time it hit those targets for requests on time was March 2020. Why are they being so secretive? Why do they not want stuff to go out? Do they have to, extract to see what information is being released and then go back and change stuff and rewrite memos, rewrite reports, get people to do and remember different things so that they can hide it and show that the 15 years of government under the SNP has not been a complete and utter failure? The report states that following a dip in performance regarding the number of FOI requests and reviews responded to on time, the Scottish Information Commissioner initiated an intervention process in April 2017. So it's been going on for 6 years now that they've had problems. It stated that the government is committed to improving FOI response times and are working to address the Commissioner's concerns. But this was 6 years ago. The SNP cannot blame anyone. This isn't Westminster. This isn't the Labour Party or the Conservatives or anything. This is them. This is 100% the SNP, and they've failed yet again. They've failed to let the truth be out. They don't want people knowing the truth because it is so damaging to them. However, the records show officers rarely even get close to meeting the target. Since March 2020, the government has responded to at least 90%, so not the 95 they set out, but 90% of requests on time 4 times. Just 4 times. 5 times the figure has dipped below 80%, and the picture is even worse for reviews, where there have even been occasions it has not responded to half of them within the allotted time. And don't be blaming Westminster. Blame the SNP, the sneaky bastards who don't want you, the people who are paying all this. You're picking up the tab, and they don't want you to know what's going on because it embarrasses them. Because everything that people request isn't generally normal stuff. It isn't. Oh, is there a planning item that's coming up for this this area or some such? Oh no. All the ones you can guarantee that all the ones that are late will be the ones that are potentially damaging to the SNP or the members of it. The Scottish Government blamed an increase in FOI requests, but the Scottish Conservatives said the government was wedded to a culture of secrecy, which they are. And it doesn't matter how many FOI requests you get. You look at it, you go, right, I'll release that. You go along to the file, you get it, and you publish it. End of story. And if you're doing 10 a day or 100 a day, fine, hire another person. Do it. Get the information out. Otherwise, you'll be accused of being sneaky and hidden and secretive and hiding the truth. Refusing to let people know what's going on in their country, the country that their taxes are paying for. Recently, the Scottish Daily Express was refused the police advice the government says it received, which stops the publication of Nicola Sturgeon's ministerial car journeys. Police Scotland responded to say they had no record of such advice. Scottish Conservative MP Ros McCall said it's very disappointing to see the SNP are still miles off meeting their FOI response time targets. FOI legislation is vital for enabling the media and members of the public to hold those in authority to account. And that, of course, is the main point. The one thing the SNP cannot abide is being held to account, because they cannot blame anything in Scotland on the previous administration, because they are the previous administration. They've been in power for 15 years, 15 long, damaging years, and they cannot hide the truth. These delays will only fuel the public's feeling that this is an SNP government that is wedded to a culture of secrecy. The Freedom of Information Act gives residents the right to access information held by the Scottish Government. A Scottish Government spokesman claims Scotland has the most open and far-reaching FOI legislation in the UK, and the government remains committed to our obligations under the Act to ensure openness and transparency. And you watch his nose grow as he says it, because he is a lying bastard, because nothing in that sentence is true. If that was the case, they would release this stuff. They wouldn't delay it. They'd just put it out. They'd actually actively ensure that it was released on time. The fact that they're actively ensuring it isn't means they're hiding it. And the only reason they're hiding it is embarrassment. He added, there's been a steep increase in the volume and complexity of FOI requests to more than 4,500 cases in 2022. If you assume 200 working days a year, just to say, that means divide the two, 4,500 by 200, you're talking, what, 22 cases a day. Let's be generous, 25 cases a day. Are you telling me that you cannot employ someone to release 25 pieces of information per day? That's 3 an hour. That's one piece every 20 minutes. How long does it take to release information? One piece of information released every 20 minutes. Hey, hire a second person. If you hire 2 more, it's 1 piece of information per person per hour. I think even the Scottish Government could handle that level of work. You lazy bastards, the fact that you're not doing it. But it's the sneakiness. We are working, they say, at pace to deliver the actions in our FOI improvement plan, including the target of answering 95% of requests on time. And working on it means making sure that that can't possibly happen, and that nothing is released that is damaging to the party and the members thereof. It's quite clear to see that that is the case. Anyway, I shall round off. We'll come up and finish the video. Here goes. You just know that they don't want anything coming out. This is why they delay it. There'll be a hot news subject and they go, oh, we'll get freedom of information on that. We'll go and look up that and find out what it is. And so they do the delay, all these tactics they do. But then the news story goes off the boil. A new news story comes along, and the public interest is piqued somewhere else. So nobody's looking too, keenly at this thing anymore. And that's when these things quietly get released, when nobody is looking. And that's standard practice. But to fail to hit a target for nearly 3 years, and like I say, not just failing to hit the target, but missing by a country mile, it's just an example of how inept everyone involved in the SNP, and especially in governance, is at their job. They just cannot do their jobs, and yet they keep getting voted for because the people who vote for them don't understand what they're voting for. That's the only explanation. If they actually knew how useless these people were, and it's very apt that the man running them is useless, but if they actually knew how useless these people are, they'd never get voted in again. Why is nobody taking responsibility for this? Probably hear my dog in the background. Why is nobody taking responsibility for this? Who is responsible? Will he or she lose their job? Probably not. Anyway, I shall finish there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit that button there and subscribe and ring that bell for notifications. Leave a like, leave a comment, share the video as per usual. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, don't believe anything, even when they do release it late, and goodbye.